Love is truly a thing of beauty that spices up life and makes it more meaningful. But more than that, it's a universal language that you'll find to be almost the same everywhere you go. Well, except if you're in Iceland. Yes, love in Iceland comes in a different package that most people from other countries might consider as strange. But then, make no mistake about it, the Icelandic love life is still a beautiful enigma, and this video will show you why it is quite exceptional. Before we get into all the details though, here's a brief introduction to this fantastic country and its mind-blowing wonders that will definitely interest you. Let's get to know Iceland. Iceland is a country most known for its impressive natural attractions that make it truly unique. Even if you haven't been to this country before, the tales of its natural beauty are so widespread that you already have an idea of just how breathtaking it could be. Commonly referred to as the land of fire and ice, Iceland combines the best of two extremes, which includes its lively volcanoes to one side and some towering glaciers to the other. Most tourists visiting this strangely incredible country do so to experience the awe-inspiring wonders in these parts. From the magical northern lights to the geyser hot water eruption, there's just so much to do and see in Iceland. But then, the beauty of this country certainly doesn't end with the natural attractions. Iceland also boasts a vibrant culture that features one of the most unique love lives, and well, it's also something of a wonder itself. Icelanders have a slightly different approach to love that tends to raise a few brows and spark curiosity among foreigners. Now, do you want to know what really makes the Icelandic approach to love very special? Then get ready to experience love like never before as we unravel the inexplicable mystery of the Icelandic love life. We will also spill the beans on the subtle details that make this love unique, so you definitely want to watch till the end. Number 1. The bold Icelandic women. The first factor that sets the Icelandic love life apart from the conventional approach in other parts of the world is the bold and beautiful Icelandic woman. In case you didn't know, women in Iceland do not just sit around and wait for men to come up with cheesy pickup lines that will sweep them off their feet. No, the women are more proactive here, and they usually don't hesitate to go all out for whatever or whoever they want. Of course, this is an enviable approach that stems from the power and position that women hold in this country. The thing is, Iceland has always thrived when it comes to gender equality, and it is constantly ranked high in the global index for this phenomenon. This means that the women here are very much empowered and enjoy almost as much opportunities as the men. Now, it's easier to see why they are not afraid or shy to move on to someone they find interesting or sexually attractive. In fact, while this might be considered unorthodox or strange in other countries, it's almost like the norm in these parts. Even beyond dating, the married women here do not just stay home and raise the kids, as you would see in some patriarchal societies. Instead, both spouses often embrace equal domestic roles while also thriving on the career front. No doubt, Icelandic women know how to step forward and take charge, and that's one of the things that make the love life in this country unique. Number 2. The open culture. Another aspect that puts the Icelandic love life in the spotlight is their openness and carefree approach to relationships, romance, and sex. In Iceland, people don't usually keep matters of sensual implications to themselves as we normally do in other parts of the world. And this also goes for even the so-called embarrassing stories. In fact, the reverse is usually the case in these parts, as Icelanders usually relish the opportunity to talk about sex, and you'll usually see them in little groups of jolly good fellows sharing their sexcapades and laughing about them like it's nothing. Also, if you think Icelanders are all talk and no action, then you might have to think again, because these lots are as action-packed as you can ever imagine. You'll find that the openness here doesn't just end with the roundtable discussions, but it also extends to their actual sex life. The thing is that unlike in other regular societies where you'll have to meet someone, create a bond, and start a relationship before getting intimate, it's almost the other way around in Iceland. Here, the usual approach is to get physical even before creating a bond and starting a relationship. In fact, most ladies here usually prefer sex first, and this is to find out if the guy can satisfy them sexually before building any relationship. So when you meet someone in Icelandic clubs, which by the way are usually buzzing with young people, the chances are that you will first get physically intimate, even before sending flowers and all the other mushy romantic stuff. After the sex, you can fix dates and start getting to know each other better if you both want to pursue something more romantic. However, this approach to sex and relationships is not written in stone, and some Icelanders might prefer the fairy tale romantic version, where relationships and romantic bonds are established before sex. But then, the openness and unpredictability makes it all the more exciting, and that's just another unique thing about the love life in Iceland. Number 3. An open approach to nudity. If you're visiting Iceland for the first time, this is one aspect that might take you unaware. You see, Icelanders do not make a mighty deal out of nudity, and it's common to see both men and women flaunt their almost naked bodies in public spaces. Indeed, this is something you should be aware of before heading out to public pools or any of the awe-inspiring natural steam springs here. This is especially because the usual dress code for such locations is bikinis. Plus, you may often see Icelandic men and women in these pools without bikini tops, and even that is not considered strange here. If you think the approach to nudity in these public spaces is a tad overwhelming, then you'll definitely find private pools and baths to be much more of a handful. These places usually feature a higher level of nudity. However, while Icelanders are very open to nudity, it is often considered rude to stare, regardless of how curious you get. But in all, this is another aspect of the Icelandic way of life that is just out of the ordinary. Number 4. Population. Now, this is a tricky part that usually tends to complicate the ever-so-free approach to love, sex, and relationships in this country. Well, Iceland is a seemingly small island country with one of the smallest populations in Europe. There are just over 350,000 people on this Nordic island, and that's a population that is easily bettered by some cities in the United States. This small population means that the chances of running into someone you know are pretty high, even if you travel to the other end of the island. Strange, right? Now, that's not even the weird part. The scary thing about this small population is that it increases the chances of relationships between members of the same ancestry. This is a prevalent occurrence in this country, and sometimes couples can only find out they are from the same extended family at a family reunion. This has even become so rampant to the extent that Icelanders now usually go as far from home as possible to find a romantic partner, but even that is usually not enough to completely eliminate the chances of landing your distant relative as a romantic partner. So here's the kicker. To prevent intra-family relationships, Icelanders have developed a software application that detects if two lovebirds are related. Now, imagine you meet a beautiful girl and you both hit it off immediately, but then you still have to wait for a verdict from an application before even getting to second or third base. Of course, this will certainly be a buzz killer for many people, but it's almost the norm in these parts, and that's another unique fact about the Icelandic love life. Number 5. The love for ice cream. On a lighter note now, a date is hardly considered romantic in Iceland without ice cream. And yes, you heard that right. It is certainly no secret that Icelanders love their ice cream. And well, these cones of creamy wonders are the go-to option for romantic dates. Again, this is not a written rule, but it is one you don't want to ignore. So if you're a foreigner looking to woo an Icelander, you might just be an ice cream date away from the romantic bliss that is Icelandic love. And there you have it, guys, the secrets of the unique Icelandic love life unraveled. Check out our next video to discover more jaw-dropping facts about your favorite travel destinations. Also, drop a comment below and tell us which of the facts we have discussed here wowed you the most.